GM. I streamed 2 days ago, but I forgot to record, so we'll do recap now. We'll be just going over what I did in the last stream, market outlook, bull or bear market, covering the market majors and outperformers, covering my approach for the upcoming bull market, and explaining my research process a bit, which I'll live stream every Tuesday, but I forgot to record, so I can't send it here, but I'll be doing that every Tuesday. So let's go into the market because we can see it here. As you can see, we are crossing we are at the 200 week moving average, which is a pretty high likelihood zone of the bear market bottom, in my opinion. But of course, you never know. So I think we are not bottoming. The bottom isn't in yet, but it's coming close. This is a little drawing which doesn't have to play out like this, but just a rough indication. I'm expecting the next 6 months roughly to go sideways or to go lower even maybe. And why is that? It's simply because the 4-year cycle theory, which we all hated, at least I did in the last cycle, but it played out exactly like you would expect it to. With like a couple days of margin between the other cycles, which all went on for around the same time. It did again this cycle, so it's good to expect the same thing for the bear market. So normally bear market lasts roughly a year. So I'm just expecting the bottom to be in a year after the all-time high, which is around 6 months from now. So yeah, I think maybe we go lower, maybe we don't. Hence why I'm just DCAing here. Pretty aggressively, but I'm DCAing over 24 weeks because my exchange doesn't allow me to do otherwise. So yeah, I'm just DCAing all my cash into Bitcoin here. I also checked my evaluation spreadsheet from the back in the real world days. I found a couple of things. Firstly, every fucking website's charging money for the same free indicators, which I used a year ago. This one and this one as well are all just charging money to get data. And they've all changed, so it's kind of fucked. But I found this to still be free. And this is also a great indication of the bottom being near. Because we've had a fear and greed below 30 for what's it, a couple of months in a row now. And so yeah, this is indicating a people just not being interested in crypto at all, which is when you want to get interested. So yeah, that's why I'm expecting the market to have more upside than downside, a better RR, so to speak. So for example, the market can go down 10, 20% more from here. Sure, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But I'm just better off DCAing because if it goes down, you get a better entry, and it won't go down another 70% or 50%. And the odds of it going higher significantly are way better odds than it going significantly lower. So that's why, in my opinion, it's best to just start DCAing here for a very long time. So you just get a good entry. It's like from last cycle, we were probably in what's it, this region here currently. Here. I think that we're roughly here. This doesn't work. This is for the weekly. This is daily. Um, so yeah, last cycle the Bitcoin went quite below the 200-week moving average, but every cycle Bitcoin get less volatile. So you can expect it to bottom here roughly. Maybe it goes a bit lower, but it won't go significantly lower because Bitcoin gets less volatile over time. And this was a very explosive bull market, so it's going to go down way more as well. And this was more of a calm bull market, so it will go down less compared to last cycle. A bottom here is pretty likely in the coming months around this price. Maybe it hits 55, maybe it hits 50. It might, but yeah, just DCA. So I filled in this spreadsheet. I couldn't fill in half the metrics because they're all paid, and it's giving a value signal. Let's look here. Also, a lot of models have broken. This one's intact, but this one is performed shitty. Can't lie. And this one is completely broken as well. It gave, yeah, it didn't perform well. Same with this one. No good signals here. This one's pretty good. This is always a pretty valid indication of bottom or tops. We are in at 55% of supply and profit. And as you can see, the bear market bottoms go higher over time. I don't have a drawing tool, but you can draw a line here. But it's not really, the trend line wouldn't mean anything, but it gets higher over time. So you wouldn't expect it to go here. So yeah, another piece of data proving that a top in the next couple of months around this price is pretty likely. We'll remove this. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be DCAing all my cash into Bitcoin in the coming next months. DCAing it weekly. Let's look at some other majors, see if we see any difference in performance. ETH has been doing a little bit better than Bitcoin, but yeah, it's just in the same range, rejecting the same way as Bitcoin is. So you could have had a little more gains by holding ETH, but not much of a difference. Sol has been lagging, so bad sign for Sol, but yeah, it still did roughly the same move. It's on the top of the range like Ethereum is, but I would personally not read too much into this. So yeah, all majors look alike pretty much. Only Sol being a bit of a laggard, lagging a bit. And then we go to Hype, which has been one of the best performers. And the reason why Hype is going up while the rest is going down is mostly because they always buy back their token. So when they get generate fees, they use the fees to buy back the token, which makes the token price go up, which is kind of a flywheel effect. This is also the reason why even if Bitcoin is going down, if there's enough activity volume on the Hyperliquid exchange, they'll just buy enough tokens to put enough buy pressure on the chart to make it go up. And this is also a funny thing with bear markets. Is in bear markets you have the most smart investors who are still active, because the stereotypical dumb money is just going to be distracted by other things, because the portfolios are down 99%, so they don't want to look at it, so they'll just do something else, play video games, whatever. And smart money is just going to double down in the bear markets because that's where the money is really made. And smart money tends to like technological projects more, projects with actual profit and actual teams behind them instead of meme coins, which dumb money really loves. So that's why coins like Hyperliquid are doing very well, because they actually are generating a lot of money and buying back the tokens, which is a good story to invest in, so to speak. That's why they're going up. Yeah, I'm not holding any Hype. I'm only holding Bitcoin and a bit of Aura. but we'll get to that later. Also have this coin, which went up literally 10x, while Bitcoin is down 50%. Yeah, it went up 10x roughly. But yeah, I'm not buying that here. But this is what you want to see in a project. Ideally, you want to see it here, where it's just going up while the rest is going down. Very good sign. So might want to keep an eye on this in the future. I haven't looked into this project as much, to be honest, but okay. But I will be going over my approach now for next bull market. Because a year ago, I really wanted to make some sort of algorithmic system which could catch all the best performers in the market and make sure you always get the right top signals, the right trend entries without any false signals. I got really picky, but that just really didn't work for me. Because always with valuation indicators, the best of which is a simple RSI. Mm, You always get good signals. This one, good signal. But you also, and this is mostly for coins going up, get very bad signals. It screamed overbought here. So if you're strictly following the RSI, you're always gonna sell before the real breakout. But you are also in a range, you're gonna sell the top. But when it breaks out, you're gonna sell before the price goes up. So it's not really effective. Unless you have some sort of, if you can couple it with sentiment or some other factor which really isn't technical like the RSI is, you can do way better. So you can filter out the bad signals by just understanding the market or having some sort of discretion to it as well, which, funnily enough, is the best combination. Because strictly following an RSI is not going to work. You're not going to be profitable because you often have, in a sustained bear market, you would be buying here because this is going to be the bottom, but then it goes down, reaches your entry twice, and then goes down way more. And then it's overbought here. So I guess you're going to be break even if you sell here. But yeah, that's that. So as for my approach, I'm not going to do a purely systemized approach. I will have to, yeah. As for valuation, I know some guys who are pretty good who said they made the best valuation indicator ever. I've looked over hundreds of valuation indicators and created hundreds myself, and I found that every valuation indicator is roughly the same as an RSI. The same way every trend following indicator is roughly the same as the Michaels EMA or whatever trend following indicator. They all look alike. So maybe yeah, it's very similar. There's not really a lot of difference. Maybe in the speed, but it doesn't matter too much either. So my approach will be, I'll be 50% in BTC or other majors and 50% in small cap alts. Small cap alts. And I don't have every detail plan out yet, but this is the rough indication. So I'm currently DCAing into Bitcoin, and this is roughly 90% of my portfolio, which I'm DCAing into Bitcoin. So not the 50% noted here, but there's a reason for that. I will get back to that in a second. And I'll be, for small cap alts, I will choose 3 or 5 small caps and throw 10% of my portfolio in each. Of course, I'll be researching these alt caps very precisely because I don't want to throw away my money. But going into risky coins in the beginning of the bull is the way to make a lot of money. But then you have to do a lot of research to find which coins are actually gonna perform well. And if you pick three, and one of them performs well, and two others die, well, you still made a lot of money because the one then goes up 50x, for example. So I have found one coin which I think has a lot of reason to do very well in the coming bull, which is Aura, which is a meme coin. So, but for the rest, I haven't yet. So, I'm just DCing all my money into Bitcoin as I think Bitcoin is more likely to go up than down in the coming months. And as I'm doing research, I might rotate a part of my Bitcoin into the small caps which I find, or DCA into them. But I'll put all my money into Bitcoin and then rotate the Bitcoin to the small cap alt, so it's gonna be 50-50. But for now, I think it's better to be in Bitcoin than to be in cash. So that's what I'm doing. And the one I found is Aura, which the chart is crazy. It's down crazy. But the thesis is very simple. First trend confirmation in a long time, by the way. The thesis is simple. There's a research group backing Aura, and I will choose another chart, which is better. Alright, so then we go to gate. This one also doesn't work. Need to find the best one. I think it's this one. Yes, this is the correct chart. I'll put it on log scale. There's a research group which started backing Aura around this day here, which is the reason why it went up to 200x in a couple of days. But the reason why that's so bullish, because it went up 200x for a reason, is because this same research group has backed three other coins, meme coins. First one being WIF, second one being Bobcat, and third one being SPX. And we know they all went to 1.5 billion each. And Aura right now is at $8.5 million market cap. So the reason why they went up, by the way, is because CPRO, it's Cryptonary, the research group, they know a lot of, they're a pretty big group. They have, I think they make 10 million a year or something, I'm not sure. But they're a pretty big group. And they have a lot of connections to KOLs, to exchanges, and to all that sort of stuff, which is exactly what a meme coin needs to succeed. Because if you or I create a meme coin, it's never going to go to 1 billion because we don't know any exchanges to get it listed. We don't know any KOLs to get to help promoting the coin. So it's just never going to perform well. And if you know 20 KOLs who are actually big and get them all to promote your meme coin, and you can spend money on advertising, on DEX screener, and you know a lot of people who can help with exchange listings, you're gonna get your meme coin to 1 billion pretty easily, if the right if the market is in a bull and people are gambling on meme coins, of course. So, being that Cryptonary has those resources, it's a pretty good thesis, and they also, they're gonna spend money on advertising as well, which I did on the other coins, I think as well, to help creators make money by posting about Aura. So they're just gonna push it very hard, which they did, but then Bitcoin topped and went into a bear market. So inevitably the meme coins are going to go down as well. So this is, I think, a very good thesis to buy this at 10 million. And I'm not saying that you should, but it's just what I'm doing. Because if they're going to spend a lot of money on advertising and pushing it and getting KOLs on board, it's definitely going to be higher than 10 million market cap because no one cares about it right now. So it's definitely going to get more attention than it has right now in the next bull because the group is pushing it. So it will definitely go up way more than 10 mil. So that's why I'm buying this. And I happen to know people who know a lot about the research group and what they're going to do. So it helps me a lot with getting a realistic view. But yeah, there are a few risks tied to this thesis. One is we never go into a bull, but I think that's unlikely, of course. CPO stops supporting, and memes never get attention anymore. The last one I'll begin with, and that's simply every cycle, memes have been the best performance. Last cycle, the most so, because it was all about memes. But the cycle before that, we had, I think, Shiba Inu, which went on a crazy run. Cycle before that, we had Dogecoin, and we had some more memes the cycle before, the second cycle. But yeah, every cycle, memes have been by far the best performers. So it's unlikely if you're gonna bet on memes not getting any motion anymore because they always have. And CPRO stopping with supporting the coin. This is the most realistic of all. But how do I say that? The guys I know say that they won't stop, which is kind of sketchy because who says that, etc. But I'm quite convinced that they're not lying. So yeah, I'll just say CPRO won't stop supporting the coin. That's what I know, and I'm pretty certain. But I can't really say why. But they're not gonna stop supporting the coin. So if all this is true, it will go up in the future, like super likely. So that's why I'm choosing this one for probably my main or only meme coin for the next cycle. But I'm not sure yet because I have to really look into everything and researching, which gets me to my next point. Yeah, so I will just be holding 3 to 5 low caps or small caps because holding 10 small caps, you're never gonna be able to keep track of every single one. If you hold 3 or 5, preferably 3, you can really get into everything that's happening with the coin. And when you do it with 10, it's super chaotic. So okay, so my live research, which is what I'll be doing every Tuesday. Reason why, I often watch guys like Alex Hormozi who are explaining stuff about business, and then they say, yeah, you have to do this and this, and you have to change this and this. And I think, sure, but why don't you ever create a video with you actually implementing your own advice, like live on your screen? Because that's way easier to learn. If you say you have to, I don't know, run his ad campaign and do it like this, why don't you show how the settings work so everyone can copy it from you? So that's why I decided to do live research, because research is the boring part. But if you see someone who is somewhat skilled doing it live, and you watch 5 hours of him doing it live, you're gonna get way better at it than him just saying you have to research. Because how do you research? That's a big question in and of itself. So that's why I'm just going to do it live, and you can watch the recaps of me researching, and I'll just update everyone with the things I find. And I'm just a starter myself on this, so I'll get better over time. But that's what I'll be doing. How I will be researching, I'll be going to Maxi, look at the new listings, and just filter out the trash from there. I'll note it in my research list, which is here. I've already roughly analyzed 17 coins just to filter out the trash. And I would just be going back in history. I can't go further than this, and I'll just note down every coin and do some quick research into it to see if it's something actually interesting, like this, or this, or this, or if it's just shit. So iPepe, which is an AI-generated meme about Pepe, which nobody cares about, especially in the bear market. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna find the coins, which are interesting because you can't just look for every new launch in crypto because you're gonna be researching 1,000 coins a day, which is impossible. So then I'll be filtering the shittest one out. So I'll just look through here, for example. These are Disney stocks, tokenized stocks. So I'll just filter out those because this isn't a real coin. So that you won't make any money on this besides the gains you will get on investing in stock itself. And we are not here to invest in stocks, we are here to invest in small caps. So I'll just instantly disregard these, which is filtering out the shit firstly. This one also shit. So I'll just filter out all those. And then I'll just go through the entire list. If that's finished, I will filter out the worst half. And then I'll go look through everything that's left and look through every coin which survived basically, and just filter out the worst half of that again. And then I can really look into the coins, like tracking down the founder, who's the founder, what has he done, and look through the Twitter of the founder, whatever. Just go really deep into the coin, and then you might find a couple of gems. But you're not going to do that with every coin because that's just crazy work. You can't deeply research 40 coins because it takes hours upon hours upon hours to deeply research something. So I'll just filter the trash a couple of times and then really look deeply into some coins. And I have a certain list of questions to fill in to find if the coin is actually good, which gets you a score from 0 to 140. I'll be sending that in my journal. Credit to the old Trioba professor who gave it for free. But he's a really great guy. He's really great at investing. But yeah, I'll be sending that for the research. Anyways, that's the recap of the stream yesterday.